Companion pieces. Companion pieces are a really interesting part of collecting because I think the view on them is going to stretch across the board, right? You're going to have a lot of people who say companion pieces really expand and they make my collection that much better. They improve everything. They bring the display together and create that universe. And some people are going to say, I don't need a companion piece because I have the figures that I do truly love, and it's taking up space of other figures I could possibly get that I also love that I don't really care about because I just got them as a companion piece and they can't stand on their own right. I'm just going to give one simple example, right? If we're looking at the Spider-Gwen, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who are like, you know what, I really love Spider-Gwen in the film, and I would get Spider-Gwen without Miles. But that's probably a minority, right? That's probably not many people who are going to say, I'm going to get Gwen without Miles. But I know there's probably a lot of people who bought Gwen because they had Miles, and those two would go together. So I want to ask the question, is that a good investment as a collector long term to get companion pieces? Because there are a number of factors to look at. Kiko, I know you're a fan of companion pieces. What do you think about this?
You never buy a companion piece unless you have the piece first.
Mm,
I think that you should never get something with the anticipation that it's only going to be better if you have this other piece to go with it. If that's the case, then you find something that can be more standalone, something that can, like an Iron Man. Okay, I have this Iron Man. It's going to be good enough for me to put on my shelf, and that's it. I don't need War Machine. I don't need Rescue. I don't need Captain America to be next. They stand on their own. Yeah, they're great pieces to have. But when you are sitting there and you buy a Jawa, all right, that's a companion piece. No one's going to put a Jawa, and maybe if Jawas, that's your favorite thing in the entire world, no one's going to put a Jawa on the shelf and it's like, hey, here's my Star Wars collection. This is my Star Wars shelf.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, for some people, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right.
I mean, he's cool in himself, but that is the epitome of a companion piece. No one says, hey, here's my Star Wars shelf, and you point to the Jawa. Is it a poor investment? I don't think it's, well, none of these things are great investments by any means, if that's what we're talking about. I think the question is, do you want to go that route? Essentially, do you want to go down a rabbit hole of trying to add extensions onto your prime pieces? And that's the question I have to ask myself is, do the current pieces I have, if everything else was taken away, can it stand alone? And that's how you decide whether or not it's a companion piece. And I think the Jawa's the perfect example. So is it a poor investment? Uh, to me, who buys pretty much everything, I don't think I'm the right person to ask for this. But I do want to say that they can really enhance the display if you do it right. I think, Kylo looks great with Rey. Han is incredible with Chewbacca. Iron Man looks great next to Captain America and or Thor. The whole reason I have the Black Order is because Thanos looks awesome, with them. They are the epitome of companion pieces as well. I know you said you may buy Cole Obsidian just because he's big and badass or whatever, but he's a companion piece. He's not a feature piece. So that's the question you need to ask yourself is that can it and does it make sense to stand alone? And if so, do you have an attachment enough to say, okay, I'm okay with just this one?
Okay. Marco, where do you stand on this one? What do you think about companion pieces?
Yeah, I'm going to completely agree with Kiko on this. I guess I'll say it a different way, in that you shouldn't go out and seek a companion piece if you weren't already going to get that piece by itself. So, like Kiko said, stand alone. If you're going to get that, sometimes, for instance, Batman and Superman, they look great together, but you're going to get the Batman and you were going to get the Superman already. So, those accidental companion pieces, I think, work best in the collection. But if you're going to get one figure, let's say, you're going to get Ahsoka, and then all of a sudden you're thinking about getting Anakin Skywalker from Clone Wars. You're already on the fence, but well, I already have this Ahsoka, so maybe they'll look good together. I think that's kind of a poor investment because now you're taking away funds or diverting funds away from characters that you truly love. So if you didn't truly love that companion piece, I think it's definitely not worth biting the bullet because a lot of these figures look so nice just by themselves, just standing alone. When you put a second one next to it, sometimes it pluses it, but in my experience, it doesn't add that much of a plussing effect based on how I like to display.
Yeah, that's understandable because Marco, when we look at something like the Dark Trooper, for example, right? You see that and you're like, I don't know, like that figure can stand in its own right, but kind of like what Kiko said, if you say, here's my Star Wars collection, you only had a Dark Trooper, wouldn't really make sense, right? Like you need other figures to make the Dark Trooper look good. I feel like that, and
The
that's
ultimate companion piece or
yeah.
the,
What's up,
the definite companion piece? Cyborg. That's a companion piece.
Cyborg?
Yeah, no
Yeah.
one is just going to have Cyborg sitting there by itself unless you're the biggest Ray Fisher honk ever, and you're like, "Damn, I just really enjoyed Cyborg. I got my Cyborg bed sheets right here. Whenever I go to Six
Cyborg
Flags,
Bastions.
when I go to Six Flags and I ride the DC ride where you play shoot 'em up, Cyborg is the only guy I look at. If that's your case, then sure, you probably do have a Cyborg shelf or whatever. But Cyborg is the companion piece and a poor investment.
Understandable. Well, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below about companion pieces, because I think they're a fun topic to address because, yeah, I mean, everyone has a different stance on them. So